I know that it is Thursday and therefore no possibility of hearing any news of Jane, but do you have any news of Miss Fairfax?
How very kind, Miss Woodhouse, but something most unusual has happened. What a surprise she gave us. No sooner did her letter arrive than she did.
Miss Fairfax! I'm so pleased to see you again. Oh, let me introduce Harriet Smith.
Oh, please do sit down. Jane was invited to go to Ireland with the Campbells to visit their daughter and her betrothed, Mr. Dixon.
You and Miss Campbell are like sisters almost.
Oh, yes, ever since Jane left the vicarage to live with Captain Campbell. Like her parents, she is kindness itself. She's elegant and gracious, even if she's not as handsome as Jane.
Aunt?
I'm sorry, my dear, but it is the truth.
I believe your friend Mr. Dixon has a lovely estate in Ireland.
Oh, yes, it's quite beautiful, Jane says, but she has decided to come here instead. Jane says Ireland is so very beautiful. Mr. Dixon has told Jane that... What is the matter now, my dear?
I was merely about to point out that as I am in the room, it is not necessary to recount every detail of my letters.
Well, here, the passage, if I remember. Let's see. Sure that... here. On our many pleasant walks, Mr. Dixon talks of his family home with delicate affection and regard. Colonel and Mrs. Campbell were very particular about their daughter not being alone with Mr. Dixon, so Jane was their chaperone and with them always, and all was right and proper.
You must feel very fortunate that the Campbells have allowed you home.
The Campbells have always treated me with love and generosity.
Indeed, they wanted to take her everywhere with them. They are disappointed she cannot go to Galway. Mr. Dixon in particular.
Mr. Dixon?
Oh, yes, he especially, ever since the service he did Jane when they were in Weymouth.
Aunt?
Jane, dear, you may wish to, but I cannot forget. We owe Mr. Dixon your life.
He saved your life. How romantic.
Who saved your life?
It was nothing.
Nothing, indeed. Mr. Dixon saved her life. It was in Weymouth last summer. Jane and Mr. Dixon were out walking with a party of Mr. Dixon and Miss Campbell's dearest friends when Jane slipped on a stone and Mr. Dixon stepped in and saved